Hi, this is Matt at AppWorks, and this is the continuation of our series on basic security in FileMaker Pro Advanced 18. So on this demo, I've got a basic privilege set up, and I've got two copies of the same database open with two different copies of FileMaker. So in this one on the left, we're running FileMaker, and I've got I'm logged in as full access, so I can modify the database and get into everything I need to do. And on the one on the right, I can't. So if I try to go to layout mode here or do certain things, I just can't do it. So those are all limited. And also, I can't change things. Like if I try to click on the company name and try to delete, I'll get an error saying the action can't be performed. Okay, how did I set that up? So in the Manage Security under the File menu, I set up a basic user. So I made a user just called Demo for this purposes. And I went to Advanced Settings, and I created a privilege set, which I talked about a little bit in the last video, that has just basic access capability. And in there, we're kind of going down the rabbit hole a little bit here. I went to Custom Privileges on Records, and I said the user in the company table can edit data, but only certain types of changes can be made. So I click on this limited under field access down in the bottom right, and then I can say they can view the company name but not edit it, but they can actually modify the address, city, state, and zip. So how does that work? So if I go over, let me click all the way out of here, so we have to go several dialog boxes out. I click over to this database, and if I click onto the address, I can see that I can change it, which is great. Also notice that when I make a change, I'm able to see a log record that tells me what the address is after my change, which is great. So if I change certain data, oh, and I made a typo there. It's 97205. Everyone knows that, of course. I can see those changes there. And if I make a change that I just can't do, again, if I try to click on the company name and delete it, I'll get an error, and no log record is made because I failed my attempt. I just can't do it. So those are some pretty good settings for pretty basic things, which allows the user to see and edit only certain things. And then there's further aspects that you can do, which are pretty great too. So what if I wanted to limit it so that they could only see records where the state is Oregon? So right now, if I went here, I'd be able to look at all of my data. I can see across all states. If I go to my list, I don't actually have the state on here, so let me add the state to here so I can actually see that. Move that right here. I won't bother with the header for now. So I'm going to go back into my settings for Managed Security, and I'm going to make one further change on this. So I'm going to go into my advanced screen to my basic access one, where I have record level security, and click on my company table, and where it has field access. But I'm going to change under view to limited. I'm going to say you can only view it if the state equals OR for Oregon. So when I make that change and save it, it'll actually take a little bit for the change to happen for this user here. Not that long. So all of a sudden, I just see no access. So all these records are just invisible, except this one, which happens to be in Oregon. So it would be very weird for a user to see all these no accesses, but FileMaker is awesome about one thing. It's actually awesome about a whole bunch of things. If I try to do a search for everybody who's in, say, Portland, so FileMaker automatically restricts and only shows me records that it can see. So there's really almost no way that I can even see all of those lines that say no access. I have to do kind of special things to get to that list. For example, if I click Show All Records, I'd see it, but that's not something that users normally would do. So normally they would be like on a menu, and they would have access to something like, do a search for a record where they say, do a find and show me all the companies that have a 3 in the name. And then FileMaker just automatically filters it and only shows them the ones that they can see. So that's pretty basic security on record level security access in FileMaker Pro 18. Thanks very much for your time.